missed some part. Okay. So once again, what is Java? Java is a high-level object-oriented programming language. Now, when we talk about the high-level object-oriented programming language, was it there a high-level object-oriented programming language prior to Java? Yes, there was. There was the few more programming languages, but then why do we need Java again? The difference or the importance of Java is that the languages those were already existing before the Java, those languages are not platform independent. That is the most important thing. They were not much portable. I give you the example of few more object-oriented programming languages. Those were there existing before Java is C++, Visual Basic. Visual Basic is a completely object-oriented programming language. Almost, you can say it is object-oriented programming language. Because in Visual Basic, you can design visually. Means you can put a text box where you can type in something, you can put a combo box, you can put a list box, you can put the radio button, you can put the check box, you can put the buttons, then you can put menus. So there were the object-oriented programming languages. But the problem with the object-oriented programming languages was that they were not portable. So due to this reason, the most important factor, portability and platform independence, there was a need of a new kind of programming languages, and that is being fulfilled by Java. Now, when Java was developed by Sun Microsystems in 1991. Actually, it was 1991, but it was given 1996. Now, why it is 1996 and I'm saying 1991? Because the development was done in 1991 and the release in 1996. Development was done. Now, that was developed by Sun Microsystems. The previous name or the first name of Java was OWK, O-W-K, or O-A-K or something. O-A-K, I think. O. Now, when the OWK was named, there was a copyright conflict between Sun Microsystems and the OWK corporations. So Sun Microsystem need to change the name OWK to Java. That was because of some copyright issues between two companies. Okay, so later on, Java came into existence. Now, Sun Microsystem is being overtaken by Oracle Corporation. So nowadays, whatever Java we are viewing or what kind of Java we need use, we have to use it from Oracle Corporation. Java was developed by a team of programmers, and the head of that team was James Gosling. So we can say that Java is a programming language which has been developed by Sun Microsystem headed by James Gosling. When we talk about why Java was very important at that time? Because due to the boom in internet, internet started spreading in an enormous way, huge. At that time, internet started spreading hugely, in a huge amount it started spreading. So what happens at that time? The person started need of such kind of programming which can be embedded on web pages. That can be embedded on web pages. Now, what is the meaning of embedding? is attaching. Means you have the web page, you put the program on the page, and then the page can be transferred from one place to another. So there was a huge need of embedded programming. Due to that reason, Java was very popular at that time. Nowadays, Java has lost its dignity, or what you say, the importance. Nowadays, a lot of other programming languages are also supporting the portability and platform independence feature. So due to that reason, it has lost some importance, but still Java is very important. Now, if the program need to be embedded on web pages, Java was Java came into existence, and along that, Java started supporting two kind of programming. One is the standalone that can be executed on one's computer. I write the program, I execute the program. That is one kind. That is standalone application. In my laptop, it exists. In my PC, it exists, and it executes there only. And another kind, the program that can be embedded on web pages and transferred from one place to another and executes on another machine. I send you a web page with an embedded applet, and when you open that web page on your machine, the program executes. And that kind of programming was termed Java applets. So there are two kinds of Java programming. Number one is standalone. Number two is applet. The standalone program that executes and resides on one computer and executes there. Number two, applets then can be embedded on web pages and transferred from one place to another or over the network to execute on the client machine. Fine. Now comes BlueJ. According to your book, it is the introduction to BlueJ and its feature. We are not going to discuss anything about BlueJ because BlueJ is not in syllabus. So anything regarding BlueJ, it is not ever asked, but you need to learn how to work on BlueJ because the Java do not provide a graphical user interface. The Java do not provide a graphical user interface. That means you cannot execute a Java program using the Windows applications. And we are very familiar with the Windows application. Without the mouse, we may not be even able to type in anything, isn't it? So due to that reason, we need to understand BlueJ. BlueJ provides the interface to develop, execute, and see the output of the Java program. That's why only BlueJ. So you need to learn how to work on BlueJ. That's all. But you need not to learn anything about BlueJ. BlueJ is not in the syllabus. No question ever asked from BlueJ section. So I am eliminating that part. Next is a question mark in your book. What is an object? Now see the book. If you have already, I said you to have the book. It is your class. You must be have your book. So in the book, you can see objects are real world entities or items. That is not enough. That is not enough. We are not in the real world. We are still in the virtual world of computers and programming, isn't it? We are not in the real world. So we are not going to learn this definition. This definition is not enough. So if you have pen and paper with you, obviously you must have because you are in the class. So I am waiting for 30 seconds. Get your pen and paper. Get it soon. By the time those who have pen and paper, if you have doubt, you can raise your hand. How to raise your hand? Touch the screen at the bottom. You can find more. Yes, Nishika. Already Rohit Valotia. First, I give the chance to Rishika. Yes, Rishika. Unmute and talk. Rishika. Sorry, Nishika. Not Rishika, Nishika. I can see the name here only as Nishika. Nishika Bardwal. No, she don't want to talk. Okay, Rohit Bhalotia. As I can see the name on the screen. You can talk. Hamas, yeah. Rohit, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, speak out.
Yes, sir.
What is your problem? You raised your hand. You raised your hand to ask doubt or just to see whether it is working or not. Rohit, no. Okay, fine. Rohit Bhalutia is still active. Yeah. Okay, now, by the time hopefully all of you have the pen and paper, so I'm dictating the definition of object. Object is an identifiable entity. Let me share the screen and write on the screen so that you can copy it from there. I need you to dictate. Okay. So sharing the screen. Just before sharing the screen, let me open the Word, MS Word, where I can type in. Yes. Just just a second. Just a second. Okay. Now, what is an object? Identifiable entity. Entity means object or something. Entity means something. Entity. Worker. Interested. Having this is the behavior spelling. Oh, this is the definition. Now, see it carefully. It is identifiable entity. That means it must have a name. It must have a name. That is one of the most important property of to be an object. It must be identified separately. For example, you can say this is a mouse, isn't it? And this mouse, you can say there is no wires. Isn't it? So it must be identifiable. We can identify my object, my kind of my thing. See here, this is also an object. The battery placed inside it is an object because I can identify it. So it is must be identifiable. Then about which an individual or an organization is interested. You may have seen, I gave you the example, you may have seen a lot of things lying on the ground or playground or on the road. and you hardly pick them up because you have no interest in them. You have seen a pen lying there, you could have hardly picked up. But a poor boy who is going through that road or walking in front or behind you, you can see if he's really needed, he will pick up the pen. Then first he will try to run it on the palm, and if it writes on his palm, he'll keep it in his pocket and move away. For you, it was not an object, but for the another boy, poor boy, it is an object. So unless the identifiable entity, someone is interested, it is not an object. Unless someone is interested, it is not an object. So you can understand what is an object now. Okay, fine. Along with that, it must have some characteristics and behavior. And characteristics means the look, the look or something which is related particularly to that object of same kind. That is behavior. Behavior means the working, the function of the particular object. Okay. Now, in your book, there are a lot of examples. The book, the mobile phone, the screen, a cat, a mm, palm tree placed in the whatever you can see, whatever you can see around you is an object if you are interested in it. Then comes class. What is a class? A class is the definition of an object. In other words, we can say what is a class is? Class is a or class is a group or collection of similar kind of objects. Now, when we talk about class in Java, in programming languages, then we have to understand little more. We have to elaborate it. Think of this pen. I'm switching to the full mode, okay, so that you can see it clearly. So this is the pen. Now, when the company produced this pen, did it produce only one piece for me? Obviously, no. The company has produced a number, thousands, millions of pens like this. And once they had how they had created, there are many different parts of the pen. Isn't it? Many different parts. Even the group can be removed. I'm not removing it because okay, you can understand there is now when the pen is being defined, pen is being created, it has been given some characteristics. What are the characteristics? The color of the pen, the design of the pen. That is the characteristics. And what is the behavior of the pen? The behavior of the pen is to write, leave mark when it is being rolled over a paper. That is the behavior. If this pen doesn't have that behavior to leave mark on paper, I would not be interested in buying a pen like that. I don't think any one of us is interested in buying a pen which do not leave mark over paper when it is being drawn over the paper, isn't it? So these are the characteristics of behavior. Now, when we talk about the class means all the definition of that particular kind of object is the class. Yeah. So hopefully what is class, that is also clear. Now, when we talk about class in Java, The characteristics that is being represented in saying or in definition are defined as variables. And the behavior, once again I'm repeating, you may have missed, the characteristics, those are being, we are talking about in Java, in a class, the characteristics are defined as variables or termed as variables. And the behavior, what we are said about is the methods or the functions that the particular class can perform. Once the variables and the functions of the class are defined, we can create as many as object of that particular class and as many as object of the particular class. And each object must have an identifiable name. Means every class must have a name. Every object must have a name. Although they belongs to the same class, but they have a name. For example, each one of us are human. Each one of us are human. But you can identify me by the face as well as by the name. Similarly, now as you are at home, you had registered yourself with a different name to come to Zoom app. I am calling you by the name what is visible to me. I don't know who is behind that particular person, isn't it? Like Bhumika Singh, Madhav Kumar, Mayank Vajpayee, MD Kev. Who is behind that particular name? I cannot recognize, but I can recognize you by the name I can see on the screen. We have the common behavior. All of you are now listening to my lecture or trying to understand what is I'm going to explain. I'm trying to explain. That is your behavior. And my behavior or all the teachers' behavior, it too is to explain the content of the book. So we can say, although we are humans, but you belongs to the student category and I belongs to the teachers category. And all the teachers have the same behavior, all the students have the same behavior, but each one of us are identifiable. We can identify each one of us, isn't it? By the name, by the face, by the walking style, by the talking style, we can easily identify. Say someone called you over phone and you can easily recognize that person if that person has talked to you previously also a number of times. Obviously, for the first, second, or third number, you cannot recognize. But if that person talked over phone for a number of times, you can easily recognize the person, isn't it? For example, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your uncle, those to whom you talk frequently without really recognizing the number, you can recognize the voice. So you can understand, they are identifiable and they are objects. Okay, now let's come to the features of object-oriented programming. Now, when we talk about the features of object-oriented programming, previously I gave you the 10 features. Now, in your book, according to your book, in page number 57, you can see the features of object-oriented programming, and below that it is given abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. I will ask you to strike out the feature from there and write principles of object-oriented programming. I would ask you to strike out feature in page number 57. At the top of the page, you can see features of object-oriented programming. I'll ask you to strike out feature and write principles. Principles, these four are the principles of object-oriented programming. Now, when we talk about the principles of object-oriented programming, there are only four. Number one is abstraction. What is abstraction is? Abstraction is the process of hiding the important information and exposing or displaying the necessary behavior. Hiding the important characteristics. For example, this pen, when you had bought this pen, when I had bought this pen, the shopkeeper or the company only says this is gel based. I may have never opened it, or none of us used to open the pen and see whether, okay, let us check if it is really gel. We don't check it. We just open the cap of the pen, take a paper, try to draw on the paper, how we doodling on the paper. If it runs smooth and according to our necessity and style, okay, fine. Yeah, they दीजिए. We hardly ask what kind of gel ink is used in it, whether it is washable or non-washable, whether the ink is being produced using the Indian technology or the Japanese technology. We never ask. And the company never says that. That is hiding. And what is exposed? The color, the design, the writing of the pen, those are exposed. So we can see when we talk about an object, something about that particular object remains hidden and something is being exposed or displayed. That is abstraction. Okay. Now, today we have only 4 minutes. So I'm not going to discuss anything new. If you have any doubt in today's class, we will take it. I will take it. Any doubt from today's class or the previous section you have? You can raise your hand. Yes, Ronit. Yeah, Ronit. You are on now.
Sir, please show the definition of class once more.
What destination of class? Definition of class. Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just saying it. Try to copy it. Okay, I'm just dictating.
Okay.
Class is a group of similar type of objects. Similar type of objects having common behavior and characteristics. Having common behavior and characteristics. Done, Ronit?
Okay. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Okay. Any other? Anyone else? No. Yes, Anurag Bharti. Yeah, Anurag. Unmute and talk.
Sir, again say, sir.
Which one? The definition of class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Class is a group of object. Class is a group of object. So, class is a group of class is
Similar?
a group. Yes, class is a group of similar kind of object.
Yes, sir.
Having common behavior. Having common behavior and characteristics.
Yes, sir.
Then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I have only 43 seconds left for this meeting. So those who had missed from the beginning, or if your friends have missed today's class will be available in Class Plus Lite from evening in the study material section. Unedited, I'm not going to do any kind of editing work. As I had started the class, everything will be available in Lite study material. Okay. Have a nice day. If you have a class next, get prepared for that. See you in the next class.